Hello YouTube. I picked up quite a big haul of stuff recently, and I thought actually maybe best make a little video and go through it all. Now, usually I pick up vintage toys, mainly stuff from the 60s, 70s and 80s, but recently I come across a few things, mainly video games. Now, I was lucky to be able to, a friend of mine sold me this big lot of video games for quite a cheap price. So I thought we can go through them right now. The first lot we have is the N64 stuff. So it comes with like a normal Nintendo, these are the expansion packs. They're also the Rumble pack. Now I think you can get about £10 for just that on its own. So that's pretty cool. Next up we have some N64 games. These are quite hard to find in the world. I very rarely find them at car boot sales. You'd have thought because they're made of hard plastic they would have lasted longer than say maybe CDs, which can get scratched easier. So you thought you'd see a lot of them, but I never really do really. But anyway, this is the pile ones I've got. We've got Banjo-Kazooie here. We've got Wipeout 64, which was a fun game at the time. Not so much anymore, it's a bit dated. Still a fantastic game. Obviously the legend that is Super Mario 64. This is possibly one of the best Mario games ever. It's definitely in like the top 3 best games on the console, probably after Zelda and maybe GoldenEye. That's my opinion. All these games are for sale, so if they see anything they want, they can just ask. Clayfire, a game I never played, but recommended to me by a lot of people. Then obviously you have your wrestling games. One thing about the N64 is I believe something like 50% of all the games are actually sports titles. There's a lot of wrestling games, there's a lot of football, American football, basketball, those sort of games, lots of racing games as well, hundreds and hundreds of racing games. And last but not least is 1080p snowboarding. Very popular on when it first came out on back in 1996 I believe this console came out. Very popular game. It's obviously got lots of wear to it. Very cheap to pick up. You can pick this one up for a couple of pounds on eBay. Right, next up as part of the deal, we've got a Nintendo SP. It's a lovely metallic pink colour. It's actually really nice. Condition is very, very good. The only issue is I don't have a charger to charge it and test it, but I've been told it should work fine. So I will probably either wait for a charger, or if anybody wants to buy it, you're more than welcome to buy it off me without a charger. You can charge it and test it, if not you can send it back. Lovely, lovely thing. So next up is some more games. We have it's not missing the wires are put away, but a GameCube. It's a little bit grubby and is yellowed a bit. The port door still work, and most importantly that still works. It looks all clean inside, and again a bit of a once over, but I can probably do a bit more of a clean again. I don't think there's much money in these things. The problem about GameCubes is if you wanted to play GameCube games you can play them on the Wii, or the early Wii you can. So, why buy a GameCube when you could buy a Wii and have both consoles in one? But still, it's quite an iconic kind of game design. I mean, console design. A lovely kind of square. It is quite. I mean, that's my hand. It tells you how big it is. It's actually quite small for in comparison to say the PlayStation or the Xbox or anything like that, or even the N64 that came before would be like that big in comparison. Right, so along with the console, we also got some games and something else. We've got this Wavebird, which is a wireless controller, which might sound like nothing nowadays, but at the time it was pretty impressive. Comes with its own little adapter here. If you were ever to sell these, you really need an adapter, because the adapter's the bit which basically makes it, obviously. But I think overall the GameCube controller is possibly the best controller for any console ever. It fits in your hand really, really well. Has all of that, all the buttons in the correct area, the places you expect them to be. Yeah, nice thing. They usually go for about £30, so that's quite nice. Then onto the games. So some titles are a bit on the boring side, to be honest. NBA Live 2006. The thing about GameCube games is there's not that many GameCube games in existence. I think only 800 or so were made, which means that finding games can be a bit tricky. So people will pay up for a bit for some titles, but not for all titles. Most titles are still quite easy to get hold of. Here's obviously a really classic Simpsons Hit and Run. If anybody here resells video games or wants to resell video games, this is one you should always look out for. It doesn't go for mega money. I think this is about £12, but it sells really fast. They've got some Need for Speed titles, Need for Speed Underground 2 and Need for Speed Most Wanted. Lovely, fantastic, cool games. They were also on the PS2 as well. They've got Aggressive Inline for anybody who's a fan of inline skating. Wasn't as good as the this next series, which is Tony Hawk's Underground, which is kind of one of those iconic games. Really, kind of sums up that time and period. We've got some more. We've got some more Need for Speed. And then we have, second to the last game, Spider-Man, kind of a classic game. It's actually one of the first games where you get to actually fly around as Spider-Man in 3D, jump around, fighting the Green Goblin. And last but not least, the one that everybody wants when they want to get a GameCube, Zelda Wind Waker. What's cool about this particular version of it is it comes with a version of Ocarina in Time, so you get both Zelda Wind Waker and Ocarina, which means if you were an N64 fan like myself and played Ocarina of Time all the time, you could basically pick up both of these and play them on your GameCube. So that's pretty much it for now. We'll have some more games soon. We always have lots of different games and toys coming to us for sale. We do a lot of toy shows, so if you ever see us around the country, come and say hello. We'd like to mainly do Shepton Mallet, Sandown in London, the Birmingham NEC show. We do Swindon. We're going to do Exeter soon. We're going to do Malvern soon. So there's quite a few toy shows around the UK. So one thing I would always say is, support your toy shows. Go out and buy toys from dealers as opposed to for eBay. Although there's nothing wrong with eBay, we all do it, but it's nice to actually go and see some cool toys you never would have thought of seeing before, toys you never would have known exist. You also track down some really good stuff by doing visiting toy shows. Alright, thank you very much. See you later.